Welcome to Yin Yoga. My name is Laurie. I'll be taking you through today's class. It's a little series I've put together of different types of yoga over the coronavirus outbreak. I figured it's a good time to be productive. And I hope it's a time where I can share these videos with people and that they can find them as sanctuaries in the midst of the turmoil. So firstly, find yourself in a comfortable seated position, knees nice and wide, and rock from side to side. Make sure you feel stable. I have my sit bones elevated with the bolster just to create a forward tilt in the pelvis. That helps my posture. And then Rolodex the hips forward and backward. Lift through the spine. Feel the back of the skull lift up, shoulders roll back and down. Back of the hands rest against the thighs to open the chest and hold the chest open. Yin Yoga uses the principle of passive stress on the joints, the ligaments, the tendons, the fascia to allow the body to open in those places that are usually less hydrated. Not so much about stretching muscle and heating the body, but it's a cool, introverted practice. And in that introversion, bring your attention onto the sensations you feel. So when we hold good posture, when we hold ourselves open, we create a doorway. That doorway is where we stand as practitioners. We can look out into the world or step back inside. When we step back inside, we start to come into a world that's less turbulent, less unknown, somehow more familiar, more eternal. And that first expression, that first sense of familiar territory is the sensations you feel. So use this time to contemplate the sensations in the body in this pose, wide seated pose. And then allow the eyes to close or become soft. And notice the flow of breath, the second contemplation. And in our yin today, with the flow of sensation staying in that pain-free range of motion, and with the breath focusing on gentle, slow breaths, gentle, intentional breaths. Focus on the exhale. As you exhale, gently draw the navel back towards the spine. Squeeze the pelvic floor. Relax the belly to inhale. Exhale, squeeze empty. Relax the inhale. Feel that gentle pumping action, that rhythmic breath, creating rhythmic stretches, sensations with each breath. Slowing the breath down. And in the third contemplation, just notice if there's any parts of the body that can relax a little more, be a little more at ease, particularly the face, letting the pressure between the lips go, letting the tongue become still, quiet, and letting the eyes melt into a steady, relaxed state. And this will be a short class today, a half-hour class, but maybe enough just to bring you several poses that will help stimulate the body, relax the body. The next one is to release come off whatever you're sitting on and bring the soles of the feet together. We're going to come into a forward bend. Bring the soles of the feet together. This is called butterfly pose in Yin Yoga. In traditional Hatha Yoga, we might call it bound ankle pose or cobbler pose. And just rock from side to side. Feel the sit bones and the heels come naturally closer together. Now it's important to create a sense of relaxation and ease in this pose. So to do that, you want to have the head supported as it comes forward. As the head comes forward, you can play with the base of the bolster by moving it further away if you want the head to come lower, which will create more sensation. If your head easily comes down towards the feet, you might start the bolster on its side, or you might use a block. Find the sensation that's just right for you, that holds the space of contemplation, of introspection, that's non-distracting, yet has enough sensation to create aliveness in the joints of the body. Once there, start to move into a relaxed stillness. Feeling the waves of sensation and the waves of breathing come together. Can you bring your attention back into the breath, one breath at a time, slowing the rhythm. And with each exhale, inviting a relaxation. And with that relaxation, you might find the weight of the head becoming a little heavier into the bolster. And that might be an invitation to lower the bolster and bring the head a little closer towards the feet. So just notice if the position of the head wants to change over time. Keep the shoulders relaxed, knees relaxed. If you find tension creeping into the body, then it may mean you've gone a little too far. Allow the opening to occur in its own time, simply through holding the pose in stillness over several minutes. Letting everything go. Now when you come out of the pose, it's very important to come out slowly and gently, because unlike other yoga poses where we're dynamically moving in and out of poses, this time we're holding for long periods of time. Certain muscles that aren't used to being extended like that might need a little more TLC. Bring the knees up, bring the bolster out to the side, stand the feet up on the edges of the mat and rock the knees from side to side. Just releasing the sensations, keeping the contemplation on sensation for now. Preparing to move into a back bend. Sometimes between a forward bend and a back bend, it can be useful to simply come into a little cat and cow to release the spine. Notice the sensations. And I'm going to do the back bend sideways so you get a different perspective. So with the sideways back bend, I'm going to stack the hands underneath the forehead and straddle the feet out widely, like Charlie Chaplin feet. I'm going to move those blocks so you can see the feet. And this is the beginning of the back bend, called crocodile pose. In crocodile pose, there's immediate feedback on the breath. You'll hear the sound of your own breathing. You'll feel the rhythmic waves of movement in the belly as you breathe in. Belly presses into the mat. And as you breathe out, allow yourself to relax even more. To create a little more intensity, invite the head to come up, stack the elbows underneath the shoulders, close enough so that the hands can reach the upper arms. So elbows under the shoulders, bring the palms back down onto the floor. So it's a variation of Sphinx pose. Roll the shoulders down, feel the shoulder blades slide down the spine towards the back pockets, and then gently drop the chin. Feel the chin drop towards the chest so you can relax into the pose, noticing the sensations. If the sensations are appropriate, you can stay here. If the sensations are too much, you can come back to crocodile. And one way to use my videos is you can, because we hold the poses for longer periods of time in Yin, you can always pause the video to stay in any pose for longer periods. If you'd like a little more intensity, lift the head, bring the hands to the edges of the mat, thumbs point straight ahead, fingers splay out to the side, and then cautiously extend the arms. Feel the shoulder blades squeeze together. Roll the shoulders back and down and drop the chin. Meditate on sensation. Is the sensation appropriate in seal pose? If so, stay here. If it's too much, return to Sphinx. If you'd like a little more, you can even walk the hands a little closer to the body. This will create more intensity. And in that intensity, don't allow the intensity to shut down the awareness of the breath and the ease. If the sensations distract you from the contemplation, back off a little bit. Approach the practice with a little more ease for 2 more breaths. And then exhale, bending the elbows, stack the hands underneath the head, walk the knees in closer, bend the knees and sway the feet from side to side. Windshield wipering the legs. And then pause as you rotate, ankles about. One direction. And then the other. Drop the feet. Bring the hands under the shoulders. Press up onto all fours. And once again, a little cat and cow. Checking in on the back after all that work. Then lean back, grab your blocks, and bring your blocks to the top of the mat. Stand atop the blocks on their tall setting. If you'd like a little more padding for the knees, you can use a blanket. and then step the left foot forward. Lean into the blocks and check in with the back hip flexor, that right hip flexor. I'll turn sideways once again so you see what I'm talking about. Left foot forward, right knee back, drop the toes down, and notice if that's appropriate sensation or not. If it's too much, you can always bring the hips back a little bit and lose that oblique angle. Otherwise, try to get a nice oblique angle out of the hips so you feel the sensation in that back hip flexor. Now you can control the sensation simply by moving the body back a little bit. Come to stillness, relax into the sensation. And at any time you'd like more sensation, you can invite the blocks to come a little lower. They can reside inside that left foot. Once again, check in, is the sensation appropriate? If it is, you can always come down a little lower. You can rest the elbows on the blocks and let the head rest. So this is a wonderful way to get into the hips. It's a safe way, as long as you're controlling the sensation slowly and progressively. Check in with the breath. Can I slow the breath down? Can I manage the breath? Can I relax the upper body in the midst of the intensity of dragon pose? Bring the hands back onto the blocks. Step that left knee back. A little cat and cow if you'd like. And then bring the right foot forward. Right foot forward, walk the left knee back. You can drop the toes down. And once again, work on finding that Goldilocks point, that point where the sensations are appropriate and there's a vitality that you feel in the ligaments, in the tendons, in that back leg. Whenever you're working with injuries, knee injuries or hip injuries, then you'll modify. You'll just make a modification that feels appropriate for your body. Once again, playing with the sensations, the position of the blocks can change to the degree that's appropriate for your body today. And how you feel in this moment, in the hips, in the knees, could be very different at another moment in the future. So just using the principle of allowing yourself to be as you are, not needing to change to be anything more or less. Simply allowing yourself to be as you are in this moment. 10 more breaths. Couple more breaths. Once again, always come out slowly and gently. If you like, you can come into your cat and cow. And just notice the progression of your practice as we move towards our next pose, which is simply going to be pentacle pentacle pose, so bring the feet to the top of the mat, let the head come down, straddle the feet nice and widely, and bring the hands out to the sides, palms face up. Allow the ground to support the back. Let the hands go limp, soft. And in many ways, pentacle pose mirrors Hatha Yoga, Shavasana or corpse pose. So it's a time to simply let go, to allow. To receive your practice. One of my yoga teachers once said, give everything to your practice, and what your practice gives you is none of your business. Simply allow whatever your practice brings to you, without expectation, without demand. Letting go of judgments. Sometimes Yin Yoga can be a portal into meditation. So at the end of this practice, if you'd like to stay and sit for a longer period of time, you can. On the next exhale, gently turn the head to the left. Inhale neutral, exhale ahead to the right. Bend the knees, bring the head to neutral, stand the feet on the edges of the mat, and rock the knees from side to side. The next time the knees come over to one side, roll onto that side and gently press up to a comfortable seat. And just notice where this short practice has brought you today. Notice the sensations in the body. Notice the impact on the nervous system. And notice the fluctuations of the mind, heartbeat. And just decide whether you'd like to stay in meditation or come back to that doorway and step